Greetings, royal family. Happy Black Friday. I'm Black. It's Friday. This is another episode of the WTF show, the What the Friday show. Thank you for clicking on my video. I hope you all had a very safe and happy and fun-filled Thanksgiving. It's the day after Thanksgiving, y'all. And as promised, I'm here another Friday, ready to just talk about what went on in the week. Be sure that you check me out every single Friday for the What the Friday show. So welcome. Let's get straight into it. Now, although, B2K, okay, may not be getting back together, that's not the case for Love and Hip Hop star Ray J, aka Brandy's little brother, and his wife, Princess Love. So, that they were going through it in the media. Princess Love made a video saying that Ray J abandoned her and she knows that he's cheating on her or entertaining other women. Ray J then did a follow-up video saying that the family has to stick together and you can't air out family grievances on social media. Princess Love was very adamant that she is going to be filing for divorce. That's not the case. They made up and they are back together. So Ray J pretty much revealed the news on his Instagram story with videos of Princess doing a maternity shoot in like a house. And you can hear him saying, the pictures look so good. And he removed the majority of his Instagram posts when they were going through their little, whatever you want to call that, So, he just, I don't know. They're just weird. He did post a video or a IG picture of him with his daughter. I just smell Sonia Norwood all over this. Like, I really do, because Sonia, she was on a couple of episodes of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood like last season or something like that. And Sonia despises family business being aired out. And she does not like that. So it could just be a matter of Princess overreacting and she just ran to social media for attention, which she tends to do. And everything could be all good with them. But I have a strong feeling that Sonia picked up that phone and she got in Ray J's ear, and she also dug into Princess's pregnant behind as well, because she did let her know when she was on Love and Hip Hop she doesn't like that. Like, keep things between you guys. Ray J has a lot of business ventures. They have a reputation to protect, both of them, as well as the Norwood family. So she's just not here for it. So Ray J and Princess are back together. I really do feel sorry for the kids. I think Ray J and both Princess Love are like immature. So if they have time to play this game, God bless them. Moving on to Mo-nique. So Mo-nique is accused of owing back taxes. Now this is all in the middle of, she's suing Netflix. So in the midst of this, she is also basically accused of owing years of back taxes. So the article goes, the Georgia Department of Revenue slapped Mo-nique and her husband Sydney, aka Daddy, with a state tax lien. So the lien was filed on November 19th, only days after Mo-nique sued Netflix, accusing them of racial and gender discrimination. Coincidence? So the Georgia Department of Revenue accuses the couple of owing $12,165 stemming from a 2017 tax bill. The original debt was over $8,000, but it grew with interest and penalties and collection costs. The department warns that if the bill isn't paid quickly, they can come after Mo-nique's property and assets. The actress has faced financial difficulties the last couple of years. Back in September, Mo-nique was hit with a separate lien by the Georgia Department of Revenue. The Oscar winner is accused of owing a total of $60,365.75 for the years 2015 and 2016. The original tax debt was only a little over $31,000, but grew with interest and penalties and collection costs. In 2016, the actress had another tax lien by the IRS. The feds claimed she owed taxes for the years 2013 and 2014 for a total of $389,904.98. Mo-nique and her husband, Sidney Hicks, aka Daddy, also faced another tax lien in 2017, and the IRS said they owed the total of over $170,000 for 2015. So the liens, all of the liens remain active, and they have yet to be released. So Mo-nique's total tax debt comes to $633,157.27. Jesus, all these numbers are making my light bill go up. Now, I wonder if that could be the reason why she rejected the $500,000 deal. I wonder that if that's the reason why she rejected the $500,000 deal that she got from Netflix, because had they given her $500,000, the IRS would have snatched that up quick. They would have snatched up every single dime. Now, look, Mo-nique, I think somebody ratted you out, okay? I'm not saying it was Netflix. I'm not saying it was... Somebody ratted you out. And I want to know, what does Uncle Sidney, aka Daddy, do for a living? Like, what type of income is he bringing in? Because he's listed on this this tax lien as well. So while you running around here, you know, trying to put out fires for Mo-nique, why you not generating no income? Daddy ain't got no money. Professor Ogilvy would have never done you like that, Mo-nique. He would never. All right, moving along. We're going to keep Mo-nique uplifted in prayer. Everybody on this list today on What the Friday needs prayer. So moving along, Bill Cosby, he breaks his silence. And people are saying that he's not showing any remorse and he's not admitting any guilt. Wendy Williams talked about this briefly on her show this week. She feels that Bill Cosby should just shut up and do his time. So he did a phone interview, and the phone interview took place in like 15-minute intervals because, you know, he is incarcerated. So I think the maximum allotted time is 15 minutes. So there were a couple of different calls that were made. The interview was conducted by blackpressusa.com, and they touched on a number of issues, including prison reform and the impact of the Bill Cosby show. But many are questioning his firm stance on not showing any remorse for the comedian's many alleged victims. So regardless of the fact that, you know, he's locked up and he's had a huge impact in Black America and in society as a whole, they only care about the fact that the press is only caring about the fact that he's not showing any remorse because he's behind jail. So Bill Cosby says, look, I have 8 years and 9 months left. He says, when I come up for parole, they're not going to hear me say that I have remorse. I was there. I don't care what group of people come along and talk about this when they weren't there. He said they don't know. So he claims that in the interview, the trial was a sham. And he said it was totally unfair. He also went on to say that it was all a setup, and the whole jury thing, they were imposters. So, you know, he's in jail. He has involvements with men groups where he's pretty much trying to uplift young Black men who are kind of like probably on their way out of prison. And he's not a representative for the program. He says, you know, it just serves to encourage and empower African-American men to strive for self-respect and dignity. So Bill Cosby goes on to say that he's privileged. You know, I guess the media who don't care for, or the public who don't care for Bill Cosby finds it, I guess, offensive that he's saying that he's a privileged man and he's not admitting to doing something that he didn't do, regardless of him being convicted. You know, all of this was a setup, all of this was a sham. So he says that he's a privileged man. And he also went on to say that if you talk to people like Dr. Benjamin F. Chavis Jr., he'll tell you that there is a history of Black political imprisonment in America, and it's repeating itself in some kind of way. Now, the man that he's referencing, Dr. Benjamin F. Chavis, he was an assistant when he was younger, he was the one of the assistants to Martin Luther King Jr. during the Civil Rights Movement. He was also one of the Wilmington 10, who were wrongfully, they were a group of civil rights leaders, and they were wrongfully accused of arson. And years later, they were, sentenced to jail. And years later, which was in 1980, all 10 were freed due to prosecutorial misconduct. They were wrongfully accused, okay? He was also the national director of the Million Man March, and he was also in the movie Belly. So this is who, Bill Cosby is referencing. So when he says that there is a history of black political imprisonment, he's referencing this man because he was a political figure for the civil rights movement and for the black community, and he and 9 other individuals were wrongfully in prison. So it's pretty much clear that Dr. Bill Cosby, honey, is he's standing firm. He says he's innocent. He's not guilty. He's not going to admit guilt. He's 82, I think, and he is willing to serve his time, and he's right. When he goes up for parole, he can show all the remorse that he wants. They're only going to remember the bad stuff that's being published, in the media. And let's keep it real. Can we really say that Bill Cosby is wrong about, his conviction being about race? Like, can we really say that, no, he's far-fetched. He does, whether you think he deserves to be behind jail or not, can we say, like, okay, race definitely played a part in his conviction? Moving along, up next, y'all, Ronald McDonald. All right, so every Thanksgiving, Macy's has their Thanksgiving Day parade. So we're gonna keep Uncle Ronald in our prayers. Uncle Ronald needs our prayers, y'all. So he showed up for work, okay, at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade, and he got injured on the job. Okay, I know a few people that went. They said Ronald didn't even make it to 34th Street, okay? So the balloon was partially deflated due to a tear in the left leg, resulting in the float being pulled out of the parade before it got to finish the route. So Uncle Ronald, he got sugar, aka diabetes, and that left leg was no good, but he still showed up to work. And the sad part is, after all his years entertaining us and being the face of McDonald's, he can't even get access to good health insurance. His leg all tore up. He still showed up to work and nothing. So, again, we're going to keep our brother Ronald uplifted, pun intended, uplifted in prayer. Okay. But yeah, the parade was good. I did see it. They had some concerns that the parade wasn't going to be a success because of the winds in the city. So, and also I saw people complaining about the Elf on the Shelf. Elf on the Shelf was a balloon, and I guess the way that he was crouched down, it really kind of freaked some of the some of the people out. So yeah, so the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade was a success, but like I said, we got to keep brother Ronald in prayers because that sugar diabetes, woo, them took him out. He didn't even make it to 34th Street, okay? Speaking of clowns on Thanksgiving, Wendy Williams celebrates her first Thanksgiving after her split with her husband. So Wendy and Little Kev were in Miami with family, and they celebrated Thanksgiving. So she was pretty much surrounded by her family. And she did share cute pictures on her Instagram. And her IG post reads, "Nothing feels better than food for the soul. Some at the table, some at poolside, but love is all around." So Kevin is 19 years old, right? That's Little Kev. He is currently attending college. I think he is attending college in Miami. Little Kev had to sit at the kids' table with some of his younger cousins or some of his younger family members. And you'll see it in the picture. And Wendy, again, she celebrated with her large family. There was a group of 14 people, her mom, her dad. I do notice them in the photo. And it's good to see that after all that drama, with her current husband, supposed to be her ex-husband or soon to be ex-husband, that she still has like a good support system with family. Because over the years, we don't really see Wendy with a lot of her family. Maybe she just wants to keep them out of the public eye. I don't know, but it's good to see that she looks happy, and she's surrounded by family. And I'm pretty sure I would love to be a fly on the wall, during that dinner, because that mother of hers, honey, she has no filter. So what I want to know is, though, I know Wendy filed for divorce back in April, I think it was, or yeah, it might have been like April. Do you guys think that she is not going to divorce him because she wants to hold on to his money, hold on to her money, excuse me, because he would be entitled to pretty much 50% and she would have to pay him, imagine, have to pay him alimony. So she's essentially going to be taking care of him and the baby that he had, during their marriage. No God. Because it's like, what's the holdup? What's the holdup? So I don't know, whatever she chooses to do, that's totally her business, but if it's the money thing, I don't blame her. I can't say that I blame her. But anyway, all right, now for the main course. Okay, let's see what's going on with this computer. For the main course, T.I. So T.I., a.k.a. Clifford Harris, a.k.a. he wants to be in control of his daughter's body parts, sat down with Jada Pinkett's mother. Tiny was there as well for Red Table Talk. So, he's gotten a lot of backlash. As you all know, no need to really reiterate this, but just to summarize it, T.I. was on a podcast with two airheads. I'm going to continue to call them airheads because when T.I. was making these remarks, these two women, aka airheads, giggled and laughed, and they're not receiving any like backlash whatsoever, Anyway, must be nice. So T.I. made some remarks and comments about how he goes to the gynecologist with his young daughter, and he wants to check to ensure that her virginity is still intact. So that caused, everybody to go up and say T.I. is misogynistic and, how could you say this and how could you do this? So it just was out of control, and he decides to come and talk with Jada Pinkett and her mother and kind of clear the air. So I think there's two parts to this. I don't know if I'm going to stick around for part two because I really don't care at this point. When he entered the house, Will Smith greeted him, and T.I. thought that Will Smith was going to sit down with him as well. And Will said, nope, I stay far away from the table. So as soon as they kind of got like assembled and sat down, Jada, she wasted no time. She was like, Tip, what the hell is going on? So T.I. says, I came here for the tough stuff. And he said that he should just basically get into what he calls Hymengate. Okay. He said, I came here to clear up any misconceptions that have been surrounding how we interact. He's so dramatic, isn't he? Anyway, and what is appropriate and inappropriate. This all surrounds a conversation I had in a very joking manner when asked, how do I deal, with parenting in this day and age? So again, he was on a podcast with the two bubbleheads, and he said that he goes with her and he basically wants to make sure that her virginity is still intact. So reflecting on his comments, T.I. explained, I just began from a place of truth. He said he began to embellish and exaggerate. And he said a lot of people took it extremely literal. These are his words. He said, because if you put any of my reputation about who I am as a father and who I've been, I thought that people knew me better than that. So Jada is just like, no, not everyone knows who T.I. is. And she asked if he understood the sensitivity behind his comments and the female body. He says, no, I did not. So he admitted that he, was ignorant. He said, I understand it now. However, my intentions have been terribly misconstrued and misconceived. He likes to do all of that, fancy fancy wordplay, you know, he really loves it. So he says he never claimed to have been in the exam room. So this is where the damage control is coming in, right? So he says that he never claimed that he was in the examination room. And he also didn't say that the virginity checks, not now they're virginity checks, were being done present day. He explained that when it went down, that his daughter was 15 and 16 at the time, and that once she became an adult, he lost control. He also pointed out that the mother of his daughter, which is not tiny, was present at every exam and there was never any objection. And then he says that he legitimately thought that he was being a responsible parent and didn't understand the greater meaning. So he says he made amends with his daughter and she basically wanted him to clear it up publicly. So he says, I am incredibly apologetic to her. For you, sweet baby Deja, not any of these weirdos. She understands my intentions and knows who I am and knows who I've always been. He said he was oblivious and now he's sensitive to it. And then it turned into T.I. asking how involved a father is able to be in his daughter's life. Don't worry, I'm going to get to my opinion. I just want to run through all the facts for those who didn't see it. So he asked Jada how involved a father is able to be in a daughter's life without being inappropriate. And Jada says, nobody has a problem with you protecting your daughter. It's the hymen part. I feel like Deja is not in the public eye. Like she's not making any public comments. You know what I mean? And I don't blame her for that. She probably is just like she wants all of this to go away. And what I think is, T.I. says that she's ready to move on, yada, yada. Okay, here's what I think. I don't think that T.I. is wrong. I said this before. I think I covered this in one of another What the Friday video. And I specifically said that T.I. should issue a public apology the same way that he told his daughter's business on a public platform. And again, I'm going to reiterate and say, I don't think that T.I. is wrong for being involved in his daughter's life and active as it pertains to her health and wellness. I said this before. I don't think that there's such a thing as being too involved as a parent with your child, especially, you know, in their younger years, you know, before they enter into like adulthood, not 18, 19, because you know, everybody has their opinions on what's an adult and what's not an adult, and I have mine. See, the problem, like I said before, is nobody needed to know that outside of your home. He basically stated that Deja's mother was there. She had no objection. That's all that matters. Honestly speaking, that is all that matters. If the mother had some sort of objection, I'm sure she would have spoken out about it. And corrections would have been made. You know, her mother was there. Her mother had no objections to it. So that's the long and short of it for me. I just feel like just because he's in the public eye doesn't mean that his children and their personal business have to be. I also respect the fact that he did publicly make an apology because, again, I said in my previous video, that's what he should do. He talked about this publicly. Regardless if he was asked the question, he should have used a lot more common sense. He should have been well aware. He should have been cognizant, right? He likes to use big words, of what came out of his mouth and how to answer that question. You know, you don't need to put your daughter's personal business out there. So I do like the fact that he acknowledged his insensitivity and he did ask Jada questions about parenting. I was on the fence about that, but he did ask. So it just makes it seem as though he's interested in trying to do better. I know a lot of people are not buying it. I know that. But we don't know if he's telling the truth or if he's being sincere or not, or trying to do damage control. You know, it kills me sometimes where people can say, oh, he's lying about not being in the exam room. But why is it that we believed him when he said that he was, or when people assumed that he was? So anyway. So I think Jada did handle him with care. A lot of people wanted Jada to go hard on him, but Jada did handle him with care, I guess. And he was open to receiving correction, which is fine. One last thing, Clifford. Why do you walk around using these multi-syllable words and, Jada had, but at the same token, Jada had to kind of educate you on what patriarchy, means. If you're going to use big words, at least you should know how to, one, spell them and know what they mean, the definition, and you should be able to at least give like a synonym as well. You ain't the only one that could use big words, T.I. I can use big words too, light bill. Okay. Homeowners Association, T.I. Okay, well, oxtail. I can use big words too. All right. This last 2 points that I want to touch on before I get out of here, royal family, as far as T.I. This is a last minute edit. I added this because I was not only having a conversation, a long, drawn out conversation. If you're watching this, you know I'm talking about you. A long, drawn out conversation, and I've also been reading comments on social media. So 2 last things that I wanted to touch on. This whole if Willow was there BS, right? Everybody is saying if Willow was there, or a few people are saying if Willow was there, she would have tore into T.I. First of all, Willow ain't lived much of a life yet. Like, what is she, 18, 19? What is it that she can tell this grown adult man, even if T.I. was a woman, about being a parent? What was she going to say? She's, first of all, I don't like that. See, you see Kevin Jr., little Kev, 19, in college, sitting at the kids' table at Thanksgiving. He ain't grown. And everybody has this idea of, oh, you're 18, you're an adult. See, that's just legally, you're an adult. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that are legal. It doesn't mean that it's right. Shall we go back several hundred years? Slavery was legal at one point, right? I'm pretty sure people weren't feeling that. It's also legal in some states for a 16-year-old to give sexual consent to a 20-year-old, right? That's the law. So I just don't like that whole, if Willow was there, she would have tore into him. Think back to, depending on your age, think back to when you were 18, 19. In your household, could most of you sit around your mother, your father, your uncles, or whatever your family members' conversation and give your 2 cents on their like, you know what I'm saying? Like those adult topics, like if your mother or father had a friend, or your uncle or whoever had a friend that came over that was maybe in their 40s, you were 18, 19, could you sit there and give them the business? You couldn't even be involved in the conversation. So I think that that's extremely, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't care if Willow is 18, 19. Like, that's not her place. And I'm going to be honest with you. That is the main reason why I don't watch the show. Because I'm looking at this little girl. Listen, I'm 36. To me, Willow's a little girl. Granted, she's 18, 19, but she's a little girl to me. And I don't like that. We wonder why these young kids are so rude to their elders, because we encourage some types of behaviors that we know good and well didn't fly in our household when we were young. So all these people that are saying if Willow was there, she would have tore into him. Excuse me? Well, her mama allows that. But if I was at that red table, I'd be like, look, Jada, we cool and everything, but I'm not here for Willow sitting around having this adult conversation. I don't know. Maybe some of you won't agree, but I'm telling the truth. You know good and well when you turn 18, that didn't mean that you could sit around and be in your mama's business or listen to your mother talking on the phone about her homegirl Cheryl going through issues with Byron. You couldn't interject in that, even though you were 18. So let's just cut the BS. You could disagree, but respectfully is the word of the day. What else did I want to touch on? Oh yeah, people feeling sorry for Tiny. This is some more BS. I think that it's insulting for people to say, oh, I feel so sorry for Tiny because she is sticking around and changing how she looks for T.I. Listen to me. Tiny is an adult. She is a mother. She is a friend. She is a Grammy Award-winning songwriter. She is a musician. She is a producer, and she is also a businesswoman and a wife. Do you think for 1 second Tiny is not conscious of the decisions that she's making? Why do we, why, I think it's extremely insulting to think that Tiny is not aware of the decisions that she's making. Yeah, period. At the end of that. Why is it so hard to believe that there are people who, when their spouse cheats on them, or if their spouse cheats on them, that's not a deal breaker for a lot of people? Like, why is that so hard to believe? You think for 1 second that Tiny is being manipulated or being coerced into staying into a marriage? She knows exactly what she is doing. And if, all right, let's just say that she changed her appearance for T.I. I'm pretty sure that T.I. didn't tell her to go do X, Y, and Z. Maybe he did. I don't know. But does the majority of that blame fall on T.I., or does it fall on Tiny making the choice to change her appearance because maybe she had issues with the way she looked? Why does it necessarily have to be to keep T.I.? But even if it was, whose responsibility is that? So let's just stop acting like Tiny is dumb. She's not stupid whatsoever. And again, how do we know that cheating is not necessarily a deal breaker for a lot of people? You know what it's like? It's like people always want to say, you know, we should respect each other's choices. I respect my choices. You got to respect other people's choices. And the loophole is, as long as it doesn't offend me. What if Tiny went on record as saying, I know that my husband has been unfaithful. That's not a deal breaker for me. Then you would call her stupid. That is how she chooses to run her marriage. Like, I think it's insulting saying that people feel sorry for Tiny because, you know, T.I. is making her do this or making her do that. She is very, very, very conscious of what is happening, what is going on, and what she's doing. I'm sorry. I don't choose to look at her that way. And I don't think she's dumb or anything like that. But I think it's insulting to insinuate that she doesn't have good sense to make a decision for herself and she's being coerced or forced into doing something. She knows exactly what she's doing. There's a lot of people who are in relationships where there's infidelity on both sides or on one side, and that's not a deal breaker for them. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So, Royal Family, that wraps up this rendition, or this episode, I should say, of What the Friday. Be sure to check out any more of my content. Be sure to check out previous episodes of What the Friday. So, like I said, every single Friday, we meet here. We gather together as a Royal Family, and I just kind of pick out some topics or some happenings for the week, and I just pretty much bring them to your attention and discuss them. To all of my new subscribers, welcome, welcome, welcome to the Royal Family. Thank you for all your support, your comments, your likes, your shares. Thank you for being respectful. And all of my returning Royal Family members, I love you as always. So I am signing off. Got some more videos to upload for you guys. And until next time, peace.